everyone, and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. So as you know, I've been a big fan of the Calero metallic paints for some time now, and I just love everything shiny and glittery in general. So I was super intrigued to see these absolutely stunning handmade paints on Claire Holloway's channel recently, and I'll leave the link for that video in the description so you can go and watch, because Claire is an absolute magician with metallic paints. So I contacted the lovely Karen who makes these paints, and I found out a little bit more about them. Karen's paints aren't mass produced like the Caleros. Each and every single one is mixed and poured individually by Karen herself, using only the highest quality mica with absolutely no fillers added whatsoever. This makes them really economical because you only need a small amount of the super concentrated paint to get that shimmery metal finish. Karen works tirelessly from dawn till dusk every single day making these, and she only uses ethically sourced mica pigments, so you can be sure that you're getting a humane product that hasn't been procured from the illegal and exploitative mines in India, because that's a big problem with sourcing mica. So let's have a look at the packaging first of all. The paints arrived in this really lovely fabric pouch, and they also came with a lollipop and a tea bag, so you can have a brew and a sweet while you paint. I thought it was really nice to have that personal touch, because you just don't get that when you buy in big brands. Now the paints themselves come in this metal tin, as you can see here, and each paint pan, I'll just take this away, is individually labelled with a magnet on the bottom so that you can take them out and about with you and they won't rattle around. I just love how compact and transportable they are, because you can just pop a water brush in your bag and go and paint plein air, which is French for painting outdoors. So don't say you don't learn anything new on this channel. The magnets also mean that you can shuffle and order the pans around however you like. And of course you can remove them if you wanted to mix and match with any other pans you might own. I've also got to mention the smell at this point. They smell absolutely divine. Sometimes artist materials can give off, really toxic scents, but these are gorgeous. If you've ever bought a Christmas wreath or Christmas cookies, or even used homeopathic remedies, you'll instantly recognise the smell of cloves. It's that warm, sweet, spicy smell that just takes me straight to December, and it's so good to have an art supply that doesn't smell of chemicals, but rather that cosy pumpkin pie, cinnamony, autumnal scent. I absolutely love it. Just make sure you don't eat them. As you can see, I've got a mixture of colours here, but you can buy them in a few different set sizes, from the full set of 90, which is my absolute dream, right down to individual colours. So whether you go mad and order the whole lot, or you want to build up your collection one at a time, you've got that flexibility there. There's also small curated sets of 3, 4 and 6 paints that Karen has put together for you if you can't decide which colours to get. So these artisan paints are handmade by Karen alone. She's a small business and she doesn't outsource anything or have a team of staff around her helping her to get these out. These are all lovingly made from scratch with only the best quality ingredients. Let's have a look at the colours then, because I bet you're dying to see what they look like. So first of all, I'm going to take a pan out so I can show you exactly what I mean about the magnet and stuff. So this is your typical paint pan. As you can see, it's labelled on the side. This one's jungle green. It is a plastic pan, I think, and then there's your magnet on the back. And then, as I say, you can just slot them in, fit them anywhere you like, and they will stick and not move around. So it doesn't matter what you do. You can turn it upside down, you can have it in your bag rattling around, and they will all stay completely still where you want them. So the colours that I have here are baby pink, orange, red, violet brass, burlesque, gemstone, deep blue, azure, bronze green, jungle green, golden, bronze, flash copper and copper. And yes, I do have a list next to me. I've not got that good of a memory. So let's have a go at swatching them. And I'm also going to show you how they look on black paper, because that's really important. When we're using metallic paints, people want to know how they look on black. So I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap black paper here and we can do both. So you only need to use the tiniest bit of water with these, so you don't have to worry about them saturating your colouring books. They need only the slightest bit of water to activate, and you don't even need to leave them to thicken for a few minutes like the Caleros. These are pretty much instantly ready to paint. So let's get on with it. Can we see, just making sure that I've got you in screen. Yeah, I think that'll do. So let's just start at the start. So I've got a little bit of water on my brush, nothing, not a lot at all. And straight away, the paints are, ready to go. So I've probably put a little bit too much water on that one, to be fair. Even though that was only a small bead of water that came off my brush, it's probably a little bit too much. But this is the baby pink. Again, I just want to make sure that I'm keeping you in camera, in shot, because you know what I'm like. Hopefully you can see that, but at the end I'm going to be bringing it up to the light so you can see it properly, because I'm not entirely sure at the moment what you can see on screen. So that's the baby pink, and then yep, just here, just making sure you can see. There we are on black. Absolutely gorgeous. Next up is orange, so just making sure I don't have a lot of water on the brush. I don't want to oversaturate it. Here we go. So you literally just need that small amount and just swirl it around a little bit, and there you go. Don't have to wait for it to thicken up or anything like that. It's ready to go. So here we are with the orange. Like I said, I will bring it up to the light at the end so you can see it properly if you can't currently see it at the moment. Let's do that on the black as well. Probably need just a slight bit more water. They thicken so fast. They're really, really high quality. You can just tell when you're mixing your brush in them how high quality they are. So that is the orange, and I'll just bring this up now just to show you quickly how thick they are. If you can see when I'm moving my paintbrush in the pigment, you can just see how thick and creamy and rich they are. Okay, we're still on screen. And then next up is the red. So as you can see, I've obviously been using these. They do look used, but they really do not melt down very quickly at all. I think they'll last ages and ages. So here we go with the red. And then on the black. Beautiful. Next up is the violet brass. This one is a gorgeous colour. It's one of those that changes, you know, when you tilt it to the light, so it'll look violet in one angle and then a really gorgeous metallic colour when you tilt it the other way. I'll show you what I mean. This is beautiful. I absolutely love this colour. It's one of my favourites. So as you can see, I'm sort of making a little bit of a dip in the centre of the paint. See, from here, from my angle now, this what I've just painted on the black looks gold. It looks like brass, but on the white I can see purple. So it's amazing. I love it. Next up is Burlesque. Love how she's named some of these colours as well. So just getting some water into that dip again, and here we go. This one is a really beautiful, rich kind of dahlia purple. So if you've got the Prismacolor set of pencils, you'll have the dahlia purple, and this one reminds me of that. And on the black, gorgeous. So if you do calligraphy, hand lettering, stuff like that, you might often use metallic paints on black paper. I know the Caleros, a lot of people use those for modern calligraphy. And these are just stunning, absolutely stunning. So this one is, just looking back at my list, this is Gemstone. So this is one of the colours that I used on my recent Colouring Heaven calendar image that I did the butterfly or fairy wings with this colour. Love it, it's gorgeous. And you'll notice that they're absolutely beautiful either on white or black. So sometimes paints like this only really show up and give their best on black, you know, which is no good to us because there aren't many black colouring books out there. So to say that these show up, you know, really, really well on white as well, it's just a testament to the quality. So But as I say, I will be showing you all that in the light properly at the end. What's this one? This is deep blue. And then next is the Azure, which is a gorgeous colour. I'm not entirely sure how you say Azure. Am I saying it right? Hope so. I don't think there's any other way you can say it, is it? No, I'm not even going to try. So this is the Azure. Beautiful, beautiful, kind of exotic ocean blue. Gorgeous on the black as well. And then we have the bronze green. So I think this is another one that sort of shines differently, however you look at it. I'm just wondering, one second, bronze green, jungle green. No, I thought I'd got them mixed up there for a second, but no, I'm right. This is bronze green. So to me at this angle, it's looking really, really green. Obviously, I don't know what you can see at the camera because you're at a different angle than me. Let's test it out on the black. Oh yeah, so we've got beautiful rich gold. I just love how they're all different colours, however you look at them. This next one is the jungle green. So again, just making that little pool of water in the centre, and if it is too much, you know, if you have got too much water put down, just go around the edge of the paint and you can sort of pick up a little bit more pigment and get it a bit thicker. This is kind of a very rich, jungly, obviously mossy sort of green. It's not a bright green. It's beautiful. Next is an absolutely gorgeous colour. This is golden, and it really is your typical beautiful bright gold colour. So if you're looking to put way too much water in there, if you're looking to create something that has a look of gold leaf to it, you know, that pure gold look, this is the colour you are looking for. I'm just trying to thicken it up a little bit there because it's my fault, I put too much water on it. There we go. But it's absolutely stunning. And I'll show you on the black as well. Wow, it's got to be one of my favourites, that one for sure. Stunning. It's just like the violet brass. I think golden and violet brass are my favourites out of this set. Next up, checking the list, we've got bronze. So here we go. So loads of different golds for you to choose from. Karen's obviously got way more than this in her collection, 90 paints in total. So I'm sure you can find your preferred colours. There we go. Beautiful. There's only so many superlatives that I can use for these paints because they really are gorgeous. I need to swallow a dictionary and get back to you. Next one is flash copper. Okay. So you see how quick it is? I'm just putting the water on, giving it a little swish, and it's ready to go. Super, super thick and pigmented. And then the final colour is the copper. So we've got the flash copper and then the copper. I'm not really sure what the difference is. Let's just check the colour first of all. So the copper is a bit darker. It seems to have a bit more of a brownish reddish undertone to it, whereas the other one is more orangey. And there we are. So that is the colours swatched out in real time. Hopefully that wasn't too boring for you. You can just skip along if it was. So okay, I'm going to show you these in the light now. So I'm bringing this up to camera, and then obviously these are still wet, so sometimes that makes them look a little bit weird, but once they're dry, the baby pink, the first one, is gorgeous as well, isn't it? Hopefully you can see that because I've got something partially covering my phone screen to hold it up so it doesn't fall down, so I can't actually see too much of what you can see, but hopefully it's a good view. And here's the black. So tilted out of the light and then into the light. Beautiful. Okay, so I'll show you some pieces that I've been working on now. This is the piece from Colouring Heaven, the calendar that I did. Let me just zoom out a little bit so that you can see the whole thing. And I'll leave a link in the description for the Colouring Heaven calendar as well, because if you want to go ahead and get yourself one of those, I don't know how many are left or what the stock is like, but go ahead and click that link in the description. You can watch my review and order yours. So I used Prismacolor pencils for the majority of this illustration, but I couldn't resist mixing the two beautiful blues, the Gemstone and the deep blue, to create these gorgeous iridescent fairy wings. You can see just how beautifully they've blended. It was so easy to do. All you have to do is make sure that the first colour that you put down is still wet when you paint the next colour really close to it, and then you swish them together in the centre a little bit with a clean brush, and voila, smoothly blended metallic paints. Claire H's video will show you exactly how to blend them, so head over there if you want to see it done step by step. So I love the fact that these paints look great even when they're not in direct light. Some paints can look gorgeous when you shine the light on them, but you take that away and they look really dull and patchy. These paints retain their vibrancy even when you're not looking at them under the light, but they take on that incredible shimmer when you tilt them one way or the other. So I've also done these butterflies down here as well, so you can see. Hopefully I'm getting the angles right on this. But yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. So to say that a little bit of these paints goes a long way, you've got an awful lot of paint here for your money. I can imagine them lasting a really, really long time because they're so packed with pigment, and you can actually feel, you know, the richness and the thickness of the paint as you're applying it to the brush, as you saw earlier when I zoomed in. Each pan measures 2 centimetres by 1.5 centimetres with an average height or thickness of 1.2 centimetres, which in terms of volume is very comparable to the Caleros, though I know the Caleros are arced at the bottom, so you're likely getting less paint with those Caleros actually, but the pans weigh the same, so there isn't a lot in it at all. Now here is another gorgeous piece that I finished. This time I used just Karen's paints alone, so there's no pencil, there's nothing in this, it's just these paints, and just look how gorgeous it is. This is from the Vinternat Postcard Book by Hannah Carlson, and you can just see that's out of the light and then into the light. Just beautiful. I absolutely adore that golden colour. So what I used here was the golden and the azure blue, the burlesque, the baby pink, the red as well, and I think that might be it for this one. Yeah, I wanted to keep the colours fairly limited, but still sort of show off the range and how they look together. But yeah, really, really lovely. So with these paints, you're getting something that's painstakingly handmade in someone's home rather than mass-produced in a factory, and it's pure raw product with no fillers at all. So I think the price point is spot on at £4.99 per pan. That's GBP. And I know that sounds like a considerable amount of money for something so small, but these really are high-end metallic paints. Of course, you can nip on Amazon and grab some cheap and cheerful metallics, but there's no way you're going to get the same result as you do with these, and you'd likely be layering and layering to get the same kind of opacity that you have here with such a small amount. I mean, it's like getting a costume jewellery ring from a flea market and comparing it with, you know, a gold wedding band. You know, they're completely different. And as much as I love Caleros, and I really do because I've actually got some new colours ready to show you soon, I quite like the idea of supporting a small business where I can. But the thing I love about metallic paints, it's that there's endless colours that they can be made in, so it doesn't have to be a competition between companies. You can have a bunch of Caleros, a bunch of Paul Rubens, a bunch of these, and there will still be more scrumptious colours out there to collect. In fact, I do have some more handmade paints from an artisan in Sweden to show you next week, as well as those new Caleros I mentioned. So you don't only have to use pens and pencils in your colouring books, and you don't have to be Van Gogh to paint. It is something I was a bit reluctant about because I find paint a little bit of a scary medium sometimes, just like I did with the pastel pencils. But, you know, if you're feeling that way, I can completely reassure you that these paints are an absolute joy to use. You don't have to worry about saturating your precious colouring books with water and, you know, goopy paint, or even be concerned about buckling or rippling the paper because you're barely using any water at all. As you can see, I've just used way too much water in this blue here. It's still going strong. You could dip back into that probably for another half an hour. so you don't have to worry about ruining your books or anything, and they don't need several coats. A lot of metallic paints, especially the cheaper kind, you need to layer and layer them to get that opacity. As I've said, these one coat, bosh, you're done. So I've already mentioned the price at £4.99 each, and you'll be glad to know that shipping costs are more than reasonable. So Karen charges just £1 shipping to the UK, which, you know, she's got to be losing money on that. You know, packing materials and all the little extras she puts in. But she does also ship worldwide. So if you're watching from the States or anywhere else, you'll be able to get your hands on some UK-made artisanal paints too. Shipping to the US is free if your order is over £35, but if not, you're looking at just £4 per order, which is still super cheap. Just bear in mind that it could take a while to get to you depending on where you are. Now, on a personal note, I've shared a few back and forth messages with Karen leading up to this review. As you know, I only give 100% unbiased reviews on this channel, and that is not lip service or bull. I really will only ever tell you exactly what I think of a product, whether it's good or bad. And I honestly adore these paints, and I can't find any fault with them whatsoever. Not only that, but Karen really is a lovely, genuine, salt of the earth lady that is working so damn hard to make her business work. You really are supporting a grassroots crafter if you decide to buy from her. So that's my ringing endorsement. Now it's over to you if you feel like I do and you want to get your hands on as many of these delicious colours as possible. Just click the link in the description to head over to Karen's Etsy page and see all the goodies she has there. So hopefully I've shown these paints in the best light that I can. They really don't need a lot of a lot of showing off, to be honest. They show off themselves. As you can see, they're absolutely beautiful, and these have dried now, so you can see again how they look in the light. So do let me know in the comments below what you think of these paints. Let me know if you're going to be buying a few for yourself, and also give the video a thumbs up, please, if you have a second. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.